friends, family, and internet strangers, Stephanie here with a new video all about sheet pan meals, particularly meal prep using sheet pan meals. I've got one recipe that I used for lunch, but you could also use it for dinner. And then I also have one that is a breakfast item, but you could also use it as a dessert. So we're gonna get into those really quickly, but first, I want to tell you a little bit about this video. It is part of a Sheet Pan Palooza collaboration hosted by Sammy over at Managing the Maze. If you've never been to Sammy's channel, you are missing out. You should run over to her channel as soon as you are done watching this video. I will have it linked in the description box below. Sammy does a lot of great cooking content. She also does grocery hauls. I love watching her channel. She is so sweet. Make sure you're checking that out. But also, I will have the playlist of all of these sheet pan meals linked in the description box below so that y'all can check out all of the other content creators making some awesome sheet pan meals, and I can't wait to check that out. If you're here from Sammy's channel or from the playlist, welcome. My name is Stephanie. I do cooking content. I also do travel content. I've got a recent trip to Ireland I've been posting lately. I do road trips. I do weekly what's for dinners and grocery hauls. So I hope you'll consider subscribing and sticking around. But now, let's get into some sheet pan meal prep. First up is a teriyaki mango sausage sheet pan meal. I got these spicy mango with jalapeno chicken sausages at the grocery store on sale. They were on sale for somewhere around $4, which was a good deal since these ones are normally $5 or $6 in my particular area. So I recommend if you see that brand, the Adele's brand, I don't know how you pronounce that, but you see that brand on sale, I recommend picking it up because these are so easy and so versatile. You can use them in so many ways with so many different ingredients. One of the other favorite things I like to do with these would be to chop them up and do this with sweet potato and apple with those chicken apple sausages that they sell. That's one of my favorite meals to make. But I have shown different variations of that on my channel before, so I decided to go with something a little bit different. So I sliced this all up into even pieces, and then I had meal prepped in advance, meal prepped for my meal prep. I had chopped up bell peppers and about half of a red onion into small pieces so that everything would go together really well. Size-wise, it would cook around the same amount of time. I coat everything in this Sweet Baby Ray's sweet teriyaki marinade. You can use any teriyaki marinade you find. This one happened to be on sale the week I went to the grocery store, so I went with that, and it was a delicious marinade. I had never tried this one before. I didn't have a specific measurement. I simply put enough in that I thought would coat everything, and it ended up being the perfect amount. But before I put this in the refrigerator, I did go ahead and kind of make sure everything was well coated by moving everything around in this bag. You do not need to marinate this. You could put this all together right on the sheet pan, but I had extra time on this day, so I threw it in the refrigerator for about an hour or so to let those flavors come together a little bit more. Sprayed down my sheet pan with some cooking spray. I used some avocado oil spray and it sprayed in a straight line, so I ended up using a paper towel to distribute that evenly along my sheet pan. And then I'm just patting everything down to make sure it is in an even layer so everything will cook through. I could have used a bigger pan. This was pretty crowded, but this was a fairly small pan. And then I threw this in the oven at 375 for about 25 to 30 minutes. Because the sausage was already cooked, it didn't need a long time. Cook it to your desired doneness of the vegetables. I served this with jasmine rice, those instant cups. You could serve it by itself. It would honestly still be good. This reheated really well. I did this as meal prep for lunches and had it for 2 days of lunch, and it was so good. I am not normally a fan of things that are reheated, but this did reheat really well, so I recommend trying this one out. Next up are some protein pancakes. This is that mix that you can get the Kodiak protein pancake mix. I've had this since before the holidays. I used half of the box in a recipe I did for a Christmas morning breakfast video, and I can post that down below if you want a different way to use this. But I decided I needed to use this up, and I've been looking for different ways to do it that's not just plain. And I found a recipe that used applesauce instead of eggs because at the moment I had applesauce that I needed to use up. I don't eat eggs enough to pay the price of eggs right now. So I found a recipe and I followed it loosely. I did not exactly follow the recipe. So I'm going to leave the actual recipe in the description box below. And I do recommend it might work out a little bit better if you follow it exactly. But I also at this point didn't have the full amount of milk that you needed for this. So I did extra applesauce and less milk than what the recipe called for. And these were not bad. I won't necessarily make them again, but I still wanted to show this to y'all as an idea of something that you can do. You don't have to follow exactly the way I did it, but this is a great option for meal prepping breakfasts and making a large batch of pancakes all at one time. Very, very simple. And then you can cut them up, put them in a container, and they're ready to go. You can put them in the freezer if you want to, or in the refrigerator for a few days. You pop them in the microwave, or I popped mine in the air fryer when I was ready to eat them. And it is a simple way to meal prep and make your life a little bit easier by doing something batch cooking on a sheet pan like this. So once I mixed together my milk, applesauce, I added a little bit extra cinnamon in here. There was salt in this as well, and a little bit of nutmeg just to get some nice spices in there. And then I used the applesauce I had on hand was the cinnamon applesauce. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll decide to stick around. You'll learn very quickly that I love cinnamon. It is my favorite spice. So I use cinnamon always at least double the amount that a recipe calls for. And then I'll even add cinnamon on top of these when I reheat them. So I popped these in the oven and watched them kind of carefully because I wasn't sure how long they would take. So you want them to be set and golden brown. And these protein pancakes did kind of hold their shape, but look at how simple that is. I've got multiple breakfasts there ready to go. And then one night, I even had this as a dessert. So I'm going to show you what I did to make this a little treat on a night that I was wanting something sweet but didn't have that much on hand. So I added extra applesauce on top of this, which I also recommend even if you're eating this for breakfast. Dipping this in applesauce was really good, and that was my preferred way of eating these. And so I added some applesauce on top. I had this big thing of Cool Whip that I've been working my way through, so I figured I could use up some Cool Whip if I was going to do this as a dessert, and plopped a dollop of Cool Whip on top. And then, as I mentioned, I love my cinnamon, so I add cinnamon on top of this as well. And this was just an easy treat using something that I had meal prepped in advance. So definitely recommend if you are not a meal prepper. It does help me out, especially on my busy weeks, to be able to make these recipes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any more content. If you're here from the playlist, thank you so much for joining me here, and I hope y'all stick around. And if you're here from my channel, make sure you're checking out that playlist and Sammy's channel as well. Thank you so much, Sammy, for hosting. Hope everyone has a great day. Thanks for watching.